Let me just give you 4 simple points to think about. And the first of them is actually the Qur'an's argument itself. In my own study of the Qur'an, I grappled with this issue maybe 12, 13 years ago. And when I did, I realized that some of the strongest arguments, probably the most conclusive arguments in favor of the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sunnah, the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, is actually the Qur'an itself. An in-depth study of the Qur'an leaves you with no other conclusion but to rely and to acknowledge the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. I would even consider it inseparable from the Qur'an, or a part of the study of the Qur'an, not even a separate institution by itself. It's actually part and parcel and inseparable from the Qur'an.
All right. So we heard this guy saying that we can separate the Hadith from the Qur'an. Peace of Christ to all, and may the Lord bless us, all of us, and open the eyes of the Muslims for what we are going to show them. We cannot separate the Hadith from the Qur'an. But if Muhammad Hadith is the one which complete the Quran, that's mean, you know, like you are telling me that the Hadith complete the Quran, which means there's no other, there's no need for anything. There is no need for you. What the point of the Hadith if the Hadith still cannot explain the Quran and cannot guide you? So we need someone like Nu'man Khan to explain to the Abduls what the Quran mean. I mean, why the Quran, why Muhammad did not spend his time explaining the Quran instead of speaking about his sperm as an example. And if the Hadith complete the Quran, why the Hadith, you Muslims keep saying this Hadith is not authentic, this Hadith is authentic, and the one is authentic, he is not authentic for someone else, and the one who accepted, he rejected by someone else, and you Muslims do not even have one agreement about what is called Hadith. The Shia reject the Sunni reject the Shia, and everybody have his own books, and even the Sunni themselves, they are fighting over the Hadith, and the Hadith can be true, can be false, can be etc. And what it says Sahih, it's that somebody else will say to me it's weak, and what it says weak, somebody else will say to me even the weak is accepted. Then what is weak is rejected by some Muslim. They say no, we should not accept the weak. So you Muslims, you have no guideline for the Hadith anyway. So now what we learn from this Hadith? Nothing except stupidity and garbage. If we open the books of Hadith, what we will find? Today I will give you an example. This is Jami' al-Tirmidhi, and this is a Hadith which is Sahih. So don't tell me this is weak. Go and see a doctor if you feel weak. All right, Abdul? So this is a Sahih, and by the way, it's not Sahih because it says here Sahih. This is fiction, because the book itself is Sahih. All of Jami' al-Tirmidhi, according to your scholars, there's 6 authentic books which there's no question about them, and Jami' al-Tirmidhi is one of them. So I'm not saying it is Sahih because it says here. No, according to Islam, this is a Sahih book, but I'm showing you this one just to get you busted. Now, as long we cannot separate the Hadith from the Quran, we cannot separate the Quran from the Hadith, and they are like a twin, but they are not separated. The story in front of us here is about a guest who came to the house of the Prophet, and he did masturbate. He did masturbate. You see here, it says he saw a wet dream. It's not really a wet dream. It's him. He did masturbate. As simple as that. What wet dream? And then the guy, he woke up in the morning and he washed the garment, because what he made the sperm, you know, he sprayed his sperm, may Allah peace upon him, all over the garment which Aisha, she gave him to cover himself with. So in the morning, this guy, he decided to wash the garment. Now Aisha, she was upset. Why she was upset? Read with me. Aisha had a guest whom she lent a yellow warp for him to sleep in. He had a wet dream and was too embarrassed to send it to her while the trace of the wet dream were present on it. So he submerged to washing it in water. Then he sent it to her Aisha, she said, why did he ruin our garment? Why did he ruin our garment? It would have been sufficient for him to scrap it off with his finger. Sometimes I would scrap it off the garment of Allah Messenger with my fingers. Oh boy. Now, what we learn from this hadith is the following. And remember, this is a Sahih hadith. There's people, they come to the house of the Prophet and they sleep in his house, and then when the light is off, they start masturbating. If we go and see the Muslims, there is Muslim videos about describing the house of Muhammad. Muhammad's house was a room. The house of Aisha was a room, according to them, not to me. So this guy was masturbating where? And how somebody is coming to the house of a prophet, and then he could not control himself, and he is a companion of the prophet, and he is doing what? When the light is off, he started playing, excuse my language, with his penis. And then what kind of a wife of a prophet she is? The one is not upset because he was masturbating in the house of the prophet, and the prophet himself is not upset because his friend is masturbating in his house. She is only upset because he ruined the garment. And how he ruined the garment? He just washed it. So the only way to keep the garment, not to be ruined, according to Aisha, is to scrap the sperm by fingers. And even she said she used to scrap it from the prophet garment, which means Muhammad always he masturbate and he spray his sperm all over, and then when it's dry, Aisha, she scrub it and she never wash it. So what we learn from this, that Muhammad and his wife, both of them, they were very open-minded to share sexual activities under the same roof, and they have no problem with it. As you see, Aisha and Muhammad did not complain about this guy masturbating in the house. He did not say to him, shame on you, don't come over here again. Or what the problem is, the garment. So what kind of a prophet you have, and what we learn from this hadith, and this guy, he just said to us, we cannot separate between the hadith and the Quran. So here we go, this is the hadith. What this have to do with God? We cannot separate the hadith from the Quran. All right, no problem. So what the hadith is about? Is the hadith about your prophet? Yes, it is about your prophet penis, about his sperm, about cleaning the sperm by the finger. It's about stupidity, because your prophet have no qualification to be a prophet, except he is just a savage man, and his wife, she is a dirty woman. She is preferring to keep the garment dirty instead of washing it by water, because she think if we wash it by water, it's ruined. This is the truth, and the truth hurt. So when the Muslims, they say to us, we cannot separate the hadith from the Quran, I agree, we cannot. But this is giving us the clear answer that Muhammad is a scam. If he is a prophet of God, who need the hadith? Isn't it God's word is enough? No, because God, he said nothing. All of it is hadith. The hadith, the Quran is a hadith anyway. Even the Quran, if we go right now to the Quran, you will see the Quran says that the Quran is the best of the hadith. The Quran never denied the fact that hadith is a Quran and Quran is a hadith. If we go right now, we will find the following. Let us go and check the Quran. And the whole point, by the way, is trying to run away, like the new generations of Muslims, trying to run away from the hadith, because the hadith have a lot of exposure to the stupidity of Muhammad and his filth. However, we can beat you by the Quran. The Quran is the most stupid book. Isn't it the Quran say that the sperm coming from the backbone and the ribs of the women? Isn't it the Quran says in one verse that Allah He created the sun first, and the other verse He says no, Allah He created the earth first? Isn't it the Quran, you know, is speaking about how He created the babies, and the babies look so funny and so stupid according to the creation of the Quran? So don't tell me we don't want to go by the hadith. Now, there's many verses. Let us see here. Hold on. Here we go. Chapter 39, verse number 23. It says, Allahu nazzala ahsan al-hadithi kitaban. Allah He sent the best of the hadith as a book. But the funny, Muhammad, he never received a book, which make it more fishy. Obviously, based on this verse, Muhammad he received a book, not statements from Jibreel, because it says here in Arabic, kitaban. Kitaban mean a book. So the best of the hadith is the Quran. So the Quran is a hadith. You see here the translation says a beautiful message. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. It says the best of the hadith, a book. This is why I say don't ever listen to a Muslim translating to you the Quran in any language. All of them, they are a bunch of liars, and they are using their own fiction translation. Look at this guy. Allah has revealed the fairest of his statement, a scripture consistent. Where is the beautiful gone? Where is the beautiful is gone? And where is the message? And where is the scriptures? It doesn't say that. It says hadith. Exactly. Hadith means a speech. Anyway, so we heard this guy. We cannot separate the Quran from the hadith. Now, can we separate the stupidity of Muhammad from the stupidity of the Quran? Absolutely not. And we can show you tons of examples of Muhammad saying stupid things in the hadith. As an example, when Muhammad he ordered his wives to hide because a blind man is coming. Huh? I mean, look at this guy. This guy is mentally sick. And don't tell me this is a weak hadith. This is a sahih hadith. So the story here is a blind man, he came to visit Muhammad in his house. And he's a poor. Remember, this is the same guy, Muhammad, he kicked him out in the chapter of Abasa. Verse number 1, it says that Abasa wa tawalla in ja'ahu al-ama, you know, he was upset when the blind man he came to him. So, but this is a different occasion. That occasion he came when Muhammad was speaking to rich men, so Muhammad kicked him out. Now, when the blind man he came, Muhammad he said to them, to his wives, observe the veil from him. Oh, he's asking them to wear hijab. What? We asked who the women, the wives. Muhammad had many chickens. We asked Messenger of Allah, isn't he blind? I mean, come on, stupid or what? Are you stupid? Isn't he blind? He can neither see us nor recognize us. So the guy is blind, he cannot see us and he cannot recognize us. Actually, in different hadith it says even he do not even know us. The Prophet said, are you both blind? Don't you see him? How stupid that is. You know, Muslim women, I can show you the Hajj. Muslim women, they are allowed to see men as long they are not naked. The guy is not coming naked to his house. The point of hijab, that the man he will not see, that's all. The women, they can see people in the street, in public, as long they are dressed nicely. There's no problem with it, supposedly. And Muslim women, they go around the Kaaba and they are mixed with men, and the men are wearing only a sheet. If you go right now and search for the Hajj, let me do that. You will see that Muslims in the Hajj, They are mixed together. All right? Muslims, women and men, they are mixed together. I will try to show you. And the men are wearing nothing, you know, wearing just a sheet. This is the same as the pagan before Islam used to do. You know, there's no different really. Nothing changed. So Muhammad, he adopted the same ideas and the same practice, and this is exactly what happened. All right. So this is the Hajj. You will see here with us. Those are women in the Hajj, men and women, and they are mixed together, and nobody have a problem. So why the women she have to wear the whatever they call it? This guy is taking a snapshot, and the camel is there too. You know. So why the women she have to hide? What is the problem? By the way, it is the most filthy place. If you look at the floor, let me zoom in. I will stop. If you look in the ground, you will see how clean the Muslims are. The floor, the ground in Mecca during the Hajj is the most filthy place ever you can imagine. Garbage everywhere. I will stop the video. I don't know if you can see it. You know, look. Do you see it? How the garbage all over the ground? I'm sure you see it, right? Let me put this thing down. All right, hold on. Do you see the ground? The ground is the most filthy place ever. So men and women are mixed together. So why Muhammad is saying to the women, hide? You see, men and women are mixed together. Huh? Hide from who? Why they have to hide? Those women, they are wearing the hijab because there is men who they can see. And women and men, they are mixed together around the Kaaba, which means the men, they are touching their private part with the back of the women. And you know, you go and see how many molestation happen in the Kaaba. Actually, all the youth of Mecca, they go to the Kaaba every day for the purpose of molestation. Because in this crowd, nobody can notice where your hand is going. So when Muhammad, he said, look at this guy, look what he's wearing. Look what they are wearing. Let me show you. Look what they are wearing. There we go. The men are wearing sheet, and there is no underwear. It's just a sheet, like you are going to take a shower, you know. And many of them, they expose their skin and they expose their shoulders, as you see here. Look, you see, they are naked. So when Muhammad, he ordered the women to cover themselves, in the purpose of what? The whole idea is Muhammad get busted and he looks stupid in front of his wives. So they said to him, why we have to hide if he is blind? So he said to him, are you blind too? Can't you see him? And this is why the hadith is a problem, because the hadith exposed the stupidity of your prophet and the filth of his house. And he have no problem that men, they come and masturbate in his house, and his wife, she is so clean to the point she prefer not to clean the sperm by washing by water, but yet she prefer if she scrub it by finger, by her nail, so she can preserve what she called the garment. That is Islam. It's a religion of scam and stupidity and a bunch of idiots. And this is a prophet who says to his wife, hide and wear the hijab. When they ask him why we should wear the hijab, because obviously the women, they are smarter than this idiot, he said, don't you see him? Since when the hijab is about you not seeing men? Nu'man Khan himself, when he is speaking there, there's women sitting in the room and they can see him. Shabir Ali, he said with the women, she is wearing 10 kilograms of makeup and she can see him. And what wearing hijab will do? This is how we stupid this religion. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to download my videos and share it with your friends. And if you like to learn more about Islam, feel free to get my books. You can find them in Amazon.com. Thank you very much for being with us. God bless.
Thank you.